All right, man. Peace. So there's a little story going around right now regarding the quarterback for the New York Football Giants named Eli Manning. I just wanted to touch on a few points in regards to it. It's in reference to his an issue that he's having with memorabilia and allegedly fabricating game used equipment to sell. So let's see how they cover this story right now. Right now, it's not a major story, but you never know what can happen.
All right, welcome back. Chris Carter, Doug Gottlieb back here. Let's move to the National Football League, where Eli Manning is in some trouble after allegations surfaced last week that he knowingly provided false game-worn memorabilia to collectors. Now, the New York Daily News speculates that Roger Goodell could suspend Eli for violating the league's personal conduct policy. As of now, there are no legal charges against Eli, and the league has not commented on the situation. All right, Whitlock, should Goodell suspend Eli over the sports memorabilia stuff?
I think no, he should not. I think that he will because of the politics of his situation.
He may have to. People must realize memorabilia is a multi-billion-dollar industry in all sports. If people have no confidence that what they're buying is not actually what they're told it is, if it's not authentic, that is going to affect the bottom line with the NFL. The NFL has contracts with memorabilia organizations. They're going to have to do something about Eli Manning. And also, please understand that the practice of memorabilia goes back to the ancient world, to what's called relic worship. All right, it's known as relic worship. You would have they would claim to have the tooth of a saint or the cloak of a knight, and people would keep it and they would worship it. It's the same reason today why people want autographs and why they want signed helmets, and they worship these athletes as gods or as heroes.
I think that NFL players feel like there's one set of rules for defensive players and black NFL players, and that's what got Tom Brady caught up in some BS. And now that Tom Brady's been caught up in some BS.
Well, Tom Brady didn't actually get caught up in any BS. Tom Brady got caught cheating. Okay? If he was as ignorant of the situation as he claimed he was, he wouldn't have destroyed his phone. He wouldn't have sent as many text messages as he sent. Now, we know that it's ludicrous that they made such a big deal about overinflated or underinflated footballs, but at the end of the day, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry. All right, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So whatever they make a big deal of is a big deal for them.
Eli Manning needs to be caught up in some BS, and so they want the rules to apply to the highest, the pretty boy quarterbacks, and so I think Roger Goodell will have no choice but to overreact in this situation.
And the Mannings have skated a lot of trouble. They've been fortunate thus far. They're very good at what they do so far in regards to skating through a lot of things. You know, Peyton Manning with the sexual harassment, with the steroids, performance enhancing drug use. You know, Eli Manning with this thing. The father basically dictating the teams who's going to draft it, his children, and probably other things that have not been brought to the forefront. Like I've said before, it's not really about who's bad or who's good. It's really about who the media decides to expose, because the media has stories on all these guys, believe me.
I think you may be right, but I'll just tell a personal story. Take 60 seconds. 4 or 5 years ago, somebody came to me and said, "You want to buy a sports memorabilia company?" At a reasonable price. I had to buy a little bit of money and then buy all the inventory. So I called one of the smarter guys I know in sports who had a connection to it. He said, 90% of the stuff's fake. He said, game use stuff is just fake. He says, you could get into legal situations, and I'm like, all right, I pass. When I hear this story, leagues have contracts with sports memorabilia places. Teams do. A player walks in, becomes a star, and you're just signing stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't even get an approval. It's like, here, we'll give you $1,000 for this helmet. If you read the story in that email from Eli, it's like it's the 38th most important thing on a Monday for Eli, and he's like, hey, can I get a couple of helmets?
I don't understand why people don't realize that most of the things that they buy, if they go online, these so-called jerseys with signatures on it, all these things are fake. There's a story that the rapper Common told back when he was a ball boy with the Chicago Bulls. He said that this was Jordan's rookie season. He said that a kid gave him a pair of sneakers for Jordan to sign. He went to the back. Jordan looked at Common and said, man, you just sign it. Sign it and take it back out. And Common said he used to sign sneakers for Michael Jordan using his signature. You know, I mean, but people get that. People get what they deserve because they worship idols. You'll see if you talk about somebody's favorite athlete or entertainer, you see how upset they will get. Right? Some people will get violent because they put these people on a pedestal and worship them as idols.
Because, there is a contract with the league, with the Giants, and the player gets stuck in it. I'm going to defend players overwhelmingly in this situation where half the time you have to sign stuff, you don't want any part of it, and then on Monday after a game in a hot tub or a whirlpool, hey, we need your jersey.
He asked for fake stuff, though.
This is an ugly business, and it wasn't the double homicide that brought OJ down. It was the memorabilia.
That is true because, like I said, they take that memorabilia stuff very, very seriously. That's a multi-billion-dollar industry. All right? And OJ didn't kill those two people, but that's a story for another day. All right? OJ was living in Brentwood, Hollywood, next to the son of the former chief of the CIA. I believe his name was Carl Colby. Okay? Nicole Brown Simpson was a big, what you call today, thought, whore, slut, whatever you want to call her. She was sleeping with a bunch of different people. She got caught up sleeping with a guy named Ron Goldman, who was also used to deal drugs on the side. He happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. He actually dropped an envelope that was filled with cocaine that he was bringing to Nicole Brown for them to do together, or he was bringing it to sell to her. All right. She used to let him drive around Brentwood in the car that OJ bought her. Believe me, if a man wants to kill two people and it's premeditated, he's not going to the house with a long knife and dressed in all black. Somebody in OJ Simpson's situation, he sends somebody to get the job done. He's not there. And if he's going to do the job himself, he's going there with a gun, not a knife. It's just ludicrous. But like I said, that's a story for another day.
So, as being a long-standing, especially being from Ohio State, also being a Hall of Famer, my autograph is worth a lot of money. And when I got into the Hall, it became substantially more. And
let me say this. What he said is something that I already knew about, and it's the reason why, for those of you who don't know, this is the reason why Terrell Owens gets so upset when he does not get let into the Hall of Fame. It's not about him being in the Hall of Fame. He could care less about that. He wants the value of his signature to go up so that he can make money signing his autograph, because Terrell Owens has money problems. When you get into the Hall of Fame, the value of your signature skyrockets. Okay, these guys could make at one signing, they can make $25,000, if not more. Pete Rose makes into the millions every year signing autographs. This is why Terrell Owens wants to get into the Hall of Fame. It is very, very important for him monetarily. And these guys in the Hall of Fame know that. But they're not going to get on TV and say, well, we're keeping Terrell out the Hall because we're trying to mess with his money. Because that is what they're trying to do. All right. They're trying to say, basically, you want to make everything about you. So we're going to string this out for a while. And we know that you're suffering monetarily. That's really what this situation is about.
And the number of companies that have approached me and the amount of money that I make doing autographs, it's ridiculous.
See? Like I said, it's about the money. That's why T.O. is heated that he can't get into the Hall of Fame.
It's ridiculous. I never would have thought that it was like this, but I have good people who manage it. I typically sign only exclusive deals. I could see how easily someone could be caught in this, because once you're in the business, people will make demands on you. And if you acquiesce to those demands, they'll keep making more demands on you, especially the active players as far as game-worn stuff. People just think, oh my God, Doug, if I could buy your pants after you wore them on this show, that would increase the value.
That is relic worship. All right. It makes people feel like they were actually there, or it makes them feel like they can channel the energy of that athlete. All right. That's going into a lot of spiritualism or mysticism. And a lot of people don't understand that their infatuation with an item of clothing that somebody wore. The reason why they want to do that is because they believe that item of clothing has a portion of that person's spirit on it. All right. It was known in the ancient world as relic worship. You know, it's the same reason why people want to find the Holy Grail or the Spear of Destiny, things like that. They want to find the cup that Christ drank out of because they feel like it'll give them powers. Like that's what the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was about. All right, relic worship. Hitler, when he was in power in Nazi Germany, he spent a lot of time sending out crews to go try to find a lot of the relics of the ancient world because he believed that it would bring power to the Third Reich. It's the same thing today. That's why people, get all crazy over a Michael Jordan jersey or a set of Derek Jeter cleats.
Like it really does. So the game worn stuff it's totally, that's a bad business. There's a lot of bad people and there's a lot of truth to this. And I'm not surprised that they don't smoke out a lot of other athletes and people behind.
Should Goodell quickly, should he suspend the guy?
No. Full disclosure though, don't lie. Because it won't help you.
Yeah, that's the part. As long as he doesn't lie. And right now, there's some plausible deniability. If you read the email or the text that he sent to his agent, hey, can you get two that look like they're game worn? That doesn't mean get ones that weren't game worn. I love that you point out that OJ is in jail for stealing his own stuff. that's just amazing footnote to it. And
people have to understand though, OJ, when he went in there and tried to get his stuff back, you can't do it like that because once something is no longer in your possession, you have to prove that it's yours. That's why he was supposed to get the authorities to go and get his stuff back. But OJ was so coked out of his mind at that point. He was so used to being rejected by society, and he was rolling with a class of people that, were pretty much just idol worshipers. He was like a little king right there, a little coked up king with his little crew of guys that was running around doing his dirty work for him. He totally was bugged out of his mind. But, just because your stuff is yours and it's been stolen from you doesn't mean that you can steal it back. You have to actually go through the authorities. That's where OJ messed up. Well, that's one of the ways that he messed up.
An incredible story. Part of it is there's just no public sympathy for autograph hounds and for this business.
That's right.
There just isn't. They're not a rights holder. It's the first family in football. Like, dude, you can't suspend a Manning. You can do it to a Brady.
See, he worships them too. He's idol worshiping them right now.
Brady, because nobody likes the Patriots. You can't suspend a Manning. That's going out. That's not going after God. Okay, that's Archie. That's going after one of the apostles. Okay.
You see the type of imagery that he uses in talking about the so-called Mannings. People who get spoken about like that, they normally have the most dirt on them.
Okay, it's not happening, and especially because there's
No.
I think no. I think there's no way that they go after it.
I think
because of plausible deniability had nothing to do with the sport, with the sanctity of the sport, and even if it was personal conduct policy, he's never had anything that could be illicit.
And by the way, quickly, if you did suspend him, like Chris said, you could have 1,000 cases open up tomorrow.
Ooh.
Peter King in his Monday morning column said 90% of game worn stuff, fake. It's
The
everywhere.
worst is the guy who buys the championship ring that somebody else earned, to me.
Yes.
Because not only are you celebrating a championship that you didn't win, but you're celebrating the fact that that guy had to sell it because he needed some money. I think that's the saddest person.
And I actually tried to Google Jason Whitlock, Ball State, game worn jersey, and nothing came back.
There's only one.
Yeah, if you were to find that, it should be Chris because that fat dude never played anyway. He probably would just have some ketchup stains on it.
Nothing came back. There's only one. But listen, the reason why I think you may be wrong is because if nothing's done to Eli here, the next player that gets in trouble is, when Eli did something, you look the other way.
Especially if it's an African American.
Yes, that's gonna happen. It'll be. I think he's in a tough spot coming up.
He's not in a tough spot. Eli's found to be complicit in any form of fraud. In regards to the memorabilia, he is going to have to be suspended. That's just a business decision. All right. Bottom line, you can't have your constituency or your market thinking that you're giving them fraudulent material. You're gonna have to suspend him, even if it's for show, even if it's just for one game. All right. But I just wanted to touch on a few things because I saw that Chris Carter made the statement about how much more money his autograph was worth after he got into the Hall of Fame. And that is the real reason why Terrell Owens is so mad about the Hall of Fame thing. And that's the real reason why they're keeping him out. They know what that means to get into the Hall of Fame. All right. Anyway, peace.